Introduction. Be Strong and Move On, inspired by Tony Robbins. We all know that life is unpredictable. It throws challenges, setbacks, and obstacles in our path when we least expect it. Whether it's a personal loss, a career setback, or a difficult phase in your relationships, we've all faced moments that made us feel like giving up. But what if I told you that within every struggle lies an opportunity? What if the hardest moments of your life could be the very things that push you to grow, evolve, and become stronger? Today we're going to talk about how to be strong and move on, no matter what life has thrown your way. This concept is inspired by the teachings of one of the most influential motivational speakers of our time, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins teaches us that the greatest power we have as human beings is our ability to decide how we respond to life. We can't always control what happens to us, but we always have control over how we react, how we think, and ultimately how we move forward. Tony often says, it's not the events of our lives that shape us, but our beliefs about what those events mean. In other words, you don't have to let difficult circumstances define you. Instead, you have the power to redefine them and use them as stepping stones to a better, stronger version of yourself. So today, let's dive into how to tap into that inner strength, reprogram our mindset, and take bold action to move on, not just survive, but thrive in the face of adversity. Because, as Tony Robbins teaches us, we are all capable of more than we think. Are you ready to step into your power and create a life that reflects your true potential? Let's get started. Chapter 1. Embracing Strength Through Change. It's a real privilege to be here with you today. I want you to take a moment and think about your life right now. Think about the challenges you've faced, the obstacles that have seemed insurmountable, and the moments when you felt like giving up. We all face these kinds of moments, don't we? Life is full of ups and downs, twists and turns, and unexpected changes. But here's the thing I want you to remember. Every setback is an opportunity for a comeback. Every challenge you face has the potential to be the catalyst for your greatest transformation. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, it only matters where you're going. And I'm here to tell you today, you have the power within you to overcome anything. You have within you the ability to transform your life, and you don't have to wait for permission, you don't have to wait for the perfect moment, and you certainly don't have to wait for the pain to go away. You are the one who has the power to create change in your life. I've learned, through my own journey and through working with thousands of people around the world, that life will always change. It's inevitable. The only thing that doesn't change is change itself. And while many people resist change, those who embrace it are the ones who thrive. When you learn to embrace change, to see it as a tool for growth, you begin to tap into a strength you didn't even know you had. You can become someone who not only survives adversity but grows from it. Tony Robbins often says, change is inevitable. Progress is optional. In other words, you get to choose how you respond to change. You can stay stuck in fear, in frustration, and in victimhood, or you can take that same energy and shift it into power, into strength, and into unstoppable momentum. Let me ask you, have you ever looked back on a difficult period in your life and realized that it was actually the moment that changed everything? That the challenge was the gift you needed to evolve? I know I have. I know Tony Robbins has. And I know that many of you, when you look back, you'll find that the hardest moments of your life were actually the most transformative. But here's the secret that Tony Robbins teaches. Strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you choose. Strength is a muscle, and just like any muscle, the more you work it, the stronger it gets. So, the first thing we need to do when life challenges us is to make a decision, to decide that we are strong enough to handle whatever comes our way. Not just mentally, but emotionally and spiritually. The moment you decide that you're going to rise above the situation, you've already won half the battle. I want you to think of a time when you overcame something tough in your life, no matter how small it seemed. Now, think about how that challenge changed you. Did it make you more resilient? Did it make you more compassionate? Did it help you discover new strengths or capabilities? That's the power of embracing change. It's not about avoiding the discomfort, it's about using that discomfort to unlock your greatest potential. Let me tell you this, No matter where you are right now, your future can be radically different. You can change your life not by waiting for things to be different, but by deciding today that you are going to change how you respond to your circumstances. You have the ability to choose what these challenges mean. Do you see them as barriers or do you see them as opportunities to grow? I want you to own that power today. No more waiting for the world to change for you. Instead, take responsibility for your future. Embrace the strength that comes from knowing that you have the ability to adapt, to grow, and to move forward. Because, as Tony Robbins always reminds us, the quality of your life is the quality of your decisions. So, let's make the decision today to embrace strength, to welcome change, and to recognize that every moment, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity for us to rise. You are stronger than you know. And right now, in this very moment, you have the power to choose to move on. So let's do it. Let's embrace change, let's embrace our strength, and let's move forward together. Chapter 2, The Power of Decision. If there's one thing Tony Robbins has taught us time and time again, it's that the power to change your life is in your hands, and it all begins with a single decision. In fact, Tony often says, it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Think about that for a second. Every single decision you make, from the small, everyday choices to the big life-altering ones, creates a ripple effect that shapes your future. Let me ask you, how many times have you felt like the world was happening to you, as if you were a victim of circumstance? Maybe you faced a setback in your career, a relationship that fell apart, or a health challenge you didn't see coming. I get it. Life can throw some heavy punches. And when it does, it's easy to feel powerless, like we don't have any control over what happens next. But I want to tell you something that will change the way you look at every challenge in your life. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you always have control over how you respond to it. And that response starts with a decision. You see, decisions are the ultimate power. The decision to act or not to act, the decision to keep going or give up, the decision to stay positive or to dwell in negativity, these are the moments that define who you are and who you will become. And the beauty of it is, you get to make those decisions every single day in every single moment. Let me explain it this way. Life is constantly moving, constantly changing. You can't control the circumstances you face, but you can control the meaning you attach to them. And the meaning you give something is determined by the decision you make. Will you choose to see your setback as a failure, or will you choose to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow? That decision will shape your future. Tony Robbins calls this the power of decision. The simple act of choosing what your next move will be can change everything. You are the creator of your own experience. You have the ability to decide how you show up for yourself, how you show up for your dreams, and how you show up for others. It doesn't matter if you've been knocked down, hurt, or disappointed. What matters is your decision to get back up. Let me tell you a story. I remember a time in my life when everything seemed to be falling apart. I was stuck in a job I hated, my relationships were strained, and I was overwhelmed by fear and uncertainty about my future. I didn't feel like I had control over anything. And then, in a moment of sheer frustration, I made a simple decision. I decided that I was not going to let life happen to me anymore. I made a choice that I was going to take control, that I was going to take responsibility for my happiness and my future. That decision, that moment, became the turning point. And in hindsight, it's clear that it wasn't the circumstances that changed me, it was the decision to take a different path. When life knocks you down, and it will, it's easy to think that your fate is sealed, that your current situation is the final destination. But it's in that moment, when everything feels the hardest, when you feel the most defeated, that you have an opportunity to make the most important decision of all. The decision to rise. As Tony Robbins teaches, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the decisions you make. You decide the meaning you give to your experiences. You decide how much energy you're going to give to negativity and how much you're going to give to possibility. You decide how much you'll let your past dictate your future, and how much you'll let your potential shape your destiny. What does that mean for you right now? It means that you have the ability to change everything. No matter where you are today, no matter what your circumstances, you can change your story by simply deciding to move forward. It's not about waiting for the right moment, because guess what? The right moment is now. You don't have to wait for life to get easier to make a change. In fact, life may never be easy, but you can choose to make your journey meaningful. And you can start that by deciding right now that you will take one step forward. So ask yourself, what decision can I make today that will move me closer to the life I want? What decision will you make today that will shift your mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility? Will you decide to let fear hold you back, or will you choose to embrace courage to step into the unknown and to move forward with confidence? I want to leave you with this thought. Your future is created by the decisions you make today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when things are perfect. Today. And if you want to take control of your life, it all starts with the decision to act, to move, and to choose strength. Chapter 3. Understanding Pain and Growth. Let's talk about something that's inevitable for all of us: pain. It doesn't matter who you are or what your background is. At some point, we all experience pain in our lives. It could be emotional pain, physical pain, or even the pain of losing something or someone we love. And while pain is unavoidable, here's the key point that I want you to understand today. Suffering is optional. Tony Robbins often says, it is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. And this includes the decision to respond to pain. Pain in itself is not the problem, how we react to it is. You see, pain is a signal, not a sentence. It's a message, a trigger that calls us to attention. It's telling us that something needs to change, something needs to be healed, or something needs to be learned. But so often we confuse pain with defeat. We think that when we're in pain we've lost, that we're broken, that something is wrong with us. But let me challenge that perspective. Pain is not defeat. Pain is growth. In fact, growth cannot happen without some form of discomfort. Think about it. When you work out and push your muscles beyond their limit, they tear a little bit. It's uncomfortable. But over time, those muscles repair and grow back stronger. The same principle applies to our emotional, mental, and spiritual growth. Every challenge we face forces us to evolve. Every setback we encounter is an opportunity to tap into a deeper level of strength. And every painful experience carries with it the seeds of something greater. Tony Robbins always talks about using pain as fuel. When you lean into your pain rather than avoid it, you begin to use it as a powerful force for transformation. Pain teaches us valuable lessons that we would never learn in the comfort of our lives. It challenges us to rise, to push through our limitations, and to discover a strength within ourselves that we didn't even know existed. But here's the secret. You get to choose how you interpret and respond to your pain. You can choose to see pain as something that defines you, as something that holds you back, or you can choose to see pain as a teacher. When you embrace pain as a guide rather than something to run from, you unlock the ability to learn from every experience. You realize that growth isn't about avoiding hardship, but about using those hardships as stepping stones to become better, stronger, and more resilient. So, let me ask you, what's the lesson in your pain? What is it trying to teach you? Instead of letting it overwhelm you, embrace it. Learn from it. Use it to fuel your next chapter, the one where you are stronger, wiser, and more equipped to face whatever comes next. Remember, pain is part of the process of growth. When you see it this way, you can't help but rise higher, push further, and evolve into the person you are meant to become. Chapter 4. Shifting your focus. Let's talk about something that can completely change the trajectory of your life. Where you focus your energy. If you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or trapped in a negative cycle, you're not alone. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of problems, challenges, and obstacles that life throws at you. But here's the secret that Tony Robbins teaches. Where focus goes, energy flows. What does that mean? It means that whatever you direct your attention to becomes the most powerful force in your life. The more you focus on something, the more energy you give it. If you focus on the problem, the difficulty, or the negativity, your mind will be consumed by it and you'll feel stuck, frustrated, and helpless. But if you shift your focus, just even slightly, onto the solution, onto what you can control, or onto the opportunity within the challenge, you completely change the energy you're giving to the situation. Here's an example that Tony often uses. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You could focus on the frustration, the wasted time, and how out of control you feel. And guess what? The more you focus on that, the more your energy will spiral into stress, anger, and anxiety. But what if you shift your focus? What if, instead of seeing the traffic as a problem, you see it as an opportunity? Maybe you can listen to an audiobook, catch up on a podcast, or simply use the time to relax and clear your mind. The situation hasn't changed, but your perspective on it has, and as a result, your energy shifts. You take control of your experience, and suddenly, what seemed like a setback is now a moment of opportunity. This shift in focus is one of the most powerful tools you have in your toolbox. In any situation, whether you're facing personal challenges, professional setbacks, or relationship struggles, you have the ability to change how you see things. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? What's the lesson? What's the opportunity here?" When you learn to refocus your mind, to move from a place of problem-oriented thinking to solution-oriented thinking, you unlock a superpower. You become the master of your thoughts, and your thoughts become the master of your life. No situation, no matter how difficult, can overwhelm you if you can keep shifting your focus back to what's going right, what's within your control, and what's possible moving forward. Remember, you cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you choose to see it. And that choice is the key to unlocking your personal strength and moving forward. So, the next time you feel stuck or you're facing a challenge, take a moment and ask yourself, "What can I focus on that empowers me?" Shift your energy to what's within your control, to the possibilities ahead, and watch how your perspective, and your entire life, begins to shift. Chapter 5. Reprogramming your mindset. Today, I want to talk about something that has the potential to transform your life in ways you've never imagined. Reprogramming your mindset. This is one of the most powerful tools Tony Robbins teaches. And I can tell you from personal experience, and from watching countless people around the world, that this is the key to unlocking your full potential. You see, we are all products of our past, our experiences, our upbringing, our successes, our failures, and often the opinions of others. And while this is part of who we are, it's not all of who we are. Too many of us are walking around with old, outdated programming that's holding us back. We carry the weight of past mistakes, past disappointments, and the criticism we've absorbed from others. And the unfortunate truth is that we often let these things define us. But here's the empowering truth: you are not your past. You are not defined by the failures you've experienced, the mistakes you've made, or even the judgments others have passed on you. You are defined by how you choose to respond to your past and, more importantly, how you choose to move forward. Tony Robbins teaches us that the most successful people in the world don't let their past define them. Instead, they challenge their limiting beliefs and reprogram their minds. They understand that their thoughts and beliefs are the foundation for everything that happens in their lives. If your mindset is rooted in self-doubt, fear, or past failure, you will continue to repeat those patterns. But when you make the decision to change your thinking, when you change your belief system, you change the course of your entire life. Let me ask you, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? If there were no limits, no fear, and no doubt in your mind, what would you attempt? What would you try? What would you create? This simple question, "What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail?" is the gateway to unlocking your true potential. When you start asking yourself this question, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. You stop seeing obstacles and begin seeing possibilities. You stop worrying about making mistakes and start focusing on making progress. Now, I want you to understand something. Reprogramming your mindset isn't about pretending that everything is perfect or denying the challenges you face. It's about choosing to see the world in a way that empowers you. It's about challenging those old beliefs that say, "I'm not good enough, I can't do this," or "I'll never succeed." You need to replace them with new, empowering beliefs. Beliefs that fuel your growth, that remind you of your strength, and that inspire you to take action. You see, your thoughts create your reality. If you continue to think small, limiting thoughts, you will create a small, limiting reality. But if you choose to think bigger, to believe in your own limitless potential, you will create a life that is nothing short of extraordinary. You can reprogram your mind by consciously choosing thoughts that empower you. So, today make the decision to start challenging those limiting beliefs. Recognize when your mind is holding you back and ask yourself, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? Shift your thinking from fear to possibility. Shift from limitation to expansion. And watch as your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. Remember, you are not your past. You are the creator of your future. And it all begins with the simple but profound decision to change the way you think. Chapter 6. Taking Massive Action. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you found yourself planning, overthinking, and analyzing every detail of what you want to do, only to realize that nothing has actually changed? It's a trap we all fall into. We think that if we just plan enough, prepare enough, or analyze enough, we'll eventually feel ready to take action. But here's the truth. Nothing changes until you take massive action. Tony Robbins often says, the path to success is to take massive, determined action. It doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, how many strategies you've learned, or how many times you've thought about what you want to do. The only way to create change is to take action. Bold, courageous, and massive action. Too many of us get stuck in the planning phase, thinking that we need to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect circumstances. And as a result, we get paralyzed by fear, perfectionism, or self-doubt. But here's something Tony teaches. You will never feel ready. There will never be a perfect time, a perfect plan, or a perfect set of circumstances. But what you can control is the decision to act. Even if you're uncertain, even if you don't have all the answers, the first step is always the hardest. But once you take that step, you start building momentum. Momentum is the key to transformation. The more action you take, the more energy you create. Every step you take builds on the last, and before you know it, you'll be so much further along than you thought possible. Tony Robbins calls this the principle of massive action. It's not about being perfect. It's about being relentless. The key is not to wait for the perfect idea or the perfect time. It's about committing to moving forward, even when you're not sure of the outcome. Think about it this way, the best way to improve is by doing, not by thinking. Here's a powerful mindset shift. Don't wait for motivation to come. Take action first. Motivation follows momentum. It's easy to get stuck in thinking that you need to feel motivated before you act. But the reality is, action is what generates motivation. When you take that first step, it activates something inside you that drives you to keep going. It's like pushing a boulder up a hill. The hardest part is starting, but once you get the momentum going, it gets easier to keep moving forward. Remember, massive action doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. It just means you start. Take that first step even if it's imperfect. Whether you're launching a business, improving your health, or transforming your mindset, the key is to move forward no matter how small the step. So today I challenge you. What's one thing you can do right now that will move you closer to your goal? Don't wait for everything to line up perfectly. Take massive action, create momentum, and watch how your life begins to change in ways you couldn't have imagined. Remember, action is the key to transformation. You can plan and think all day long, but nothing happens until you move. Chapter 7. The Power of Consistency. We've talked about taking massive action, but now I want to dive into the true secret of long-term success. Something that Tony Robbins emphasizes again and again: consistency. You see, taking action is powerful, but it's consistency that transforms small, daily steps into massive, life-changing results. Tony Robbins often says, the secret to success is in your daily rituals. And what do I mean by rituals? These are the small, consistent actions you take every day without fail. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike or hoping that you'll feel inspired. Success comes from doing the things you know you need to do consistently, even on the days when you don't feel like it. It's the little things you do daily that add up over time and make the biggest difference. Think about this for a moment. If you take just one small positive action every day at the end of a year, that's 365 steps forward. But what if you didn't take those actions? What if you didn't show up for yourself every day? You'd be in the same place you were yesterday, stuck in the same patterns with no progress. The key to extraordinary results isn't about waiting for big moments of inspiration. It's about taking consistent, purposeful action, day in and day out. Let me give you an example. Think about something as simple as exercise. A single workout won't give you the results you want. But when you show up every day, when you commit to your fitness goals and take consistent action, those small workouts compound over time. They lead to bigger gains, more energy, better health, and a greater sense of self-confidence. The same principle applies to anything you want to achieve in life, whether it's building a business, improving your relationships, or mastering a new skill. It's not about making one massive leap. It's about the small, persistent actions that, over time, lead to extraordinary progress. Tony Robbins talks about the power of rituals, the things you do every day to reinforce the life you want. Could be reading a few pages of a book to grow your knowledge. Could be spending 5 minutes practicing gratitude to shift your mindset. It could be taking 10 minutes each day to reflect on your goals and affirm your purpose. Whatever it is, those rituals add up. They don't need to be big. In fact, it's the small, consistent efforts that compound and create long-term results. Consistency is the key that unlocks your potential. It's not the dramatic, one-time breakthroughs that lead to lasting success. It's the daily, disciplined actions, the small steps you take every day, that, over time, lead to massive growth and transformation. So ask yourself, what small, consistent actions can I commit to today? How can I start today to build the life I want, one day at a time? Remember, it's not about one giant leap. It's about the steady, persistent effort that leads to profound change. Consistency will take you further than you ever imagined. Chapter 8. Let go of the past. We all have a tendency to carry the weight of the past with us, whether it's mistakes we've made, relationships that ended, dreams that didn't materialize, or painful experiences we can't seem to forget. We hold on to the past because we think it defines us. But here's the truth. The past doesn't define who you are today or who you will become. The only thing that defines you is what you do right now, in this moment. Tony Robbins often says, the past does not equal the future. Your future is not a continuation of your past unless you choose to let it be. When we hold on to old wounds, regrets, and failures, we are not living fully in the present. We're living in a mental prison of what was, not what can be. And in doing so, we are keeping ourselves from experiencing the freedom, the growth, and the joy that the present moment has to offer. Think about this. How many times have you beaten yourself up over something you did or didn't do? How many times have you replayed old arguments, old mistakes, or old failures in your mind, thinking that somehow, by thinking about it more, you can change it? The truth is, revisiting the past doesn't change it. In fact, it robs you of the energy, creativity, and power you need to create a new future. You cannot change what has already happened. The time for regret, for blaming yourself or others, is over. But here's the empowering part. You can choose right now to let go. Tony Robbins teaches that forgiveness is not a gift to the other person. It's a gift to yourself. When you forgive, you free yourself. You stop carrying the burden of past hurts and regrets. You release the emotional energy that keeps you tied to the past. And by forgiving yourself and others, you create the space for healing, growth, and new possibilities. Letting go means you stop letting the past dictate your actions. It means you take full ownership of your life in this moment, knowing that the only thing you control is your response to the present circumstances. You can choose to learn from your past, to honor the lessons it taught you, and then move forward with new wisdom and strength. So, today make the decision to let go of what no longer serves you. Release the old stories that keep you stuck. Release the judgments you've placed on yourself and others. Because in order to move on and become the person you were meant to be, you must first free yourself from the chains of the past. The present moment is a new beginning. Embrace it. Chapter 9. Develop unshakable confidence. Confidence is not just a nice-to-have trait. It is the foundation of your strength, your resilience, and your ability to conquer challenges. When you doubt your abilities, when you shrink back in fear, when you allow uncertainty to dictate your choices, you make it infinitely harder to move forward. But here's the truth. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's not something that's simply given to you by luck or circumstance. Confidence is something you build day by day, decision by decision, action by action. Tony Robbins teaches us that confidence comes from competence. What does that mean? It means that the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you push yourself outside your comfort zone, the more your confidence increases. Confidence is earned through experience, through doing the hard things, and through taking risks even when you feel fear. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or waiting to feel completely ready. It's about stepping into action, right now, and developing the skills, the mindset, and the resilience to keep moving forward. Think about it. When you first learned to ride a bike, you didn't just wake up one day confident and ready to ride. You started off uncertain, wobbly, and probably scared of falling. But the more you practiced, the more you learned how to balance, the more you became comfortable with the process. And over time your confidence grew, not because you were perfect but because you had the courage to keep going even when it was tough. That's the key to unshakable confidence. Courage. It's the courage to face life no matter what it throws at you, and to trust that you will find a way through. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about showing up even when you're uncertain. It's about failing and getting back up over and over again. It's about believing in your ability to figure things out, even when the road is unclear. Remember, every time you face a challenge, every time you step into the unknown, your confidence grows. You start to realize, I am capable. I can handle this. I can keep going no matter what. So, how do you develop unshakable confidence? You do it by taking massive action. You do it by facing your fears head-on. You do it by consistently stepping outside of your comfort zone and pushing yourself to grow. And you do it by remembering that the real measure of confidence is not in being flawless, but in having the strength and courage to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. So, today decide to trust yourself more. Embrace the discomfort, the challenges, the risks, and watch your confidence soar. You have the power to create the unshakable belief that you can overcome anything. Now go out and prove it. Chapter 10. The Art of Gratitude. In the face of life's challenges, it's easy to become consumed by what's going wrong. When we're struggling, it's natural to focus on what's lacking, whether it's money, time, relationships, or opportunities. We get trapped in a cycle of scarcity, where the things we don't have seem to overshadow everything else. But here's the powerful truth. Gratitude is the antidote to scarcity. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we don't have to what we do have. And in doing so, it has the power to transform our entire lives. Tony Robbins often speaks about how gratitude is one of the most transformative forces in our lives. Why? Because when we cultivate gratitude, we literally change the way we see the world. We begin to see the possibilities rather than the limitations. We begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. It doesn't matter how tough the circumstances may seem, the act of being thankful for what you have, right now, will begin to rewire your brain and your experience. Think about it for a moment. If you're always focused on what's missing, you are training your mind to look for problems, to see scarcity. But when you choose to practice gratitude, you begin training your mind to look for what is abundant in your life. The relationships you have, the lessons you've learned, the strength you've developed through adversity, these are things that cannot be taken from you. And the more you focus on them, the more they multiply. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better in the moment. It's a neurological shift. The more you practice gratitude, the more your brain starts to see the world through a lens of abundance. When your focus is on appreciation, Your brain releases positive neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, which elevate your mood, lower stress, and increase feelings of well-being. You begin to look at life with a mindset of possibility instead of limitation. Even in the darkest times, Tony Robbins reminds us that there is always something to be grateful for. It may seem difficult to find gratitude when things aren't going your way, but this is where the true power of gratitude lies. In times of hardship, you can choose to be grateful for the lessons you've learned, the strength you've developed, the people who have supported you, or even the fact that you woke up with the opportunity to try again. Gratitude in these moments becomes a superpower, because it shifts your energy from helplessness to empowerment. When you make gratitude a daily practice, you unlock a life of greater joy, peace, and fulfillment. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges, it means you'll be better equipped to handle them. Gratitude keeps you grounded in the present moment, it fills your heart with appreciation for everything you've already achieved, and it fuels your vision for the future. So, today make the conscious decision to embrace the art of gratitude. Whether things are going well or not so well, choose to focus on what is working in your life. When you train your mind to see the good, to see the abundance, and to appreciate what you already have, you open the door to a life filled with joy, possibility, and success, no matter what's going on around you. Gratitude at its core is not just a feeling, it's a way of being. And when you embody that way of being, you will unlock the ultimate power to live a fulfilled and meaningful life.